Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
As you can tell, I am dressed for a wedding, folks. I have a wedding to go to tonight, which means there will be no live streams tonight. We're going to do pre-recorded episodes, but I was able to catch the first game of the day, which is Germany versus Spain, with Spain winning this game 2-1 with the Mikel Merino game winner at the 118th minute in extra time. Spain ends up going through in this clash of giants. Ultimately, the two favorites for the Euros at this moment in time. Spain comes out on top, and Germany is eliminated, as well as Toni Kroos leaving the pitch for the final time.
Low-key, Germany choked this. How do you leave Mikel Merino wide open in the box with 2 minutes left on the clock? How do you do that? Rudiger has moments like this throughout his career where he's so good for stretches of the game and then he just switches off. And the thing is, you can't do that against a very clinical Spain side because they've been popping off this entire tournament. The German backline, the German defensive midfield choked this. They should have taken this to penalties because they did the hardest thing. Equalized with 2 minutes left in regulation. They should have taken this to penalties, but this was coming, man, and it was really surprising because even though Spain's B team offense was there throughout the entire extra time, because there's no Nico Williams, there's no Lamine Yamal, there's no Alvaro Morata, they actually had more of the ball. They were putting more balls into the box in extra time. Germany, for some reason, for the last 30 minutes of extra time, they just looked loose. So this goal was coming, and it happened in Germany, in Stuttgart. The hosts are done.
The hosts are done. Dani Olmo getting the assist on that beautiful cross. Also getting a goal in this game after coming through for Pedri, which is how this game started. Let's just kind of go through the big moments here. Pedri gets injured after a pretty harsh tackle from Toni Kroos that didn't get a yellow card, bro. And it kind of started a theme of really interesting refereeing decisions with certain players getting carded for plays that I thought were kind of light and soft, and the other players not receiving a card for really harsh plays. This play specifically, Kroos ends up injuring Pedri, who has had really bad health concerns for his entire career, has to leave the pitch within the first 10 minutes, and in comes Dani Olmo to ultimately get a goal to give them the lead with the Lamine Yamal assist.
Yeah, this sucks for Pedri because he's just been so injury prone his entire young career. And the moment Kroos hit him high up the leg around the knee area, I was like, oh, this isn't good, man. Pedri has a history of this, and he went down 2 minutes after giving it a go, and I was like, god damn it, this just sucks. It should have been a card. Really poor refereeing decision there from Taylor. But Dani Olmo comes in and continues this trend of Spain's offense just works no matter who's playing right now. It's incredible because he gets a goal in this game, a beautiful assist once again from Lamine Yamal, and another really good finish from Dani Olmo, bro. So ultimately, even though Pedri does go off, it's very sad to see Olmo comes in and doesn't miss a beat.
I think it's why the Spanish team is quickly becoming one of my favorite international teams I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's with them winning any silverware right now. I just love how this team plays. I love the depth. I love the versatility that they have in both the midfield and offense because this game ultimately represented it. I got nervous when Nico Williams, Morata, and Lamine Yamal all got subbed off around like the 60th minute. I got nervous because I was like, bro, you need these guys. You need them to play 90 minutes. They're youngins too. Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, they can play 120 minutes easily, and I got concerned. But like you mentioned, big players step up in big moments. Mikel Merino with an insane header.
Gorgeous.
A tribute to the great Cristiano Ronaldo headers we've seen, man. The way he got up in the air and finished that opportunity was perfect. And it's one of the many reasons for why I love the Spanish team so much. They're electric on the wings when they have their starters, but even their backups are just so good. Everybody's got that Spanish flair to them right now, that Spanish confidence. And it's just working, man. Yeah. It's just working, but it definitely had to go through an obstacle today because they were leading 1-0. And ultimately, it was Bayer never loses. Florian Wirtz showing that mentality that he showcased this entire past season, scoring late game winners and late game tying goals to save Germany's hopes in the 89th minute. What a goal and what a flick from, who was it?
Kimmich. Yeah, what a setup header. It was perfect for Wirtz to get onto it and hit it. He struck it beautifully, rattles off the post, and I was wondering who it was going to be, man, because we were about to hit the 90-minute mark, and Germany hadn't had a goal. I was like, wow, this is how it's going to end? 1-0, Germany at home, not getting a goal in this match. But Florian Wirtz is the one who stepped up. Of course, Bayer Leverkusen have an incredible season this year. It only makes sense that one of their players really stepped up to the occasion. And at that moment on, I truly thought Germany were going to take over the match, but Spain really showed their mentality in this extra time by settling the match and gaining back possession. So Germany, yes, they got back into it, but I'd say overall Spain's control of the game really showed that they are the best team at this tournament.
Yeah, but that's what makes things really, really interesting, is because it came with certain losses, you could say. Yellow card accumulation, and even Dani Carvajal getting a red card in this game. I'm not sure all the players that will be missing, but we know for sure Lenormand won't be there. Pedri's injured now. Morata got carded, apparently.
Got carded at the end for the celebrations, I think, which is huge because now you don't have your starting 9, and then now Dani Carvajal.
Dani Carvajal, that's 4 starters right there.
Yeah.
That are gone. 1 through injury, the rest through yellow cards. That's crazy. That's crazy. And like we were talking about it, France and Portugal got to be seeing this as a golden opportunity now, at least to see a slightly weaker Spanish team in regards to their starting lineup. That helps them. And I think that makes this conversation really interesting going to the semifinals once we see who progresses through to face off against Spain. This is really interesting. And to me, it's one of the biggest storylines because Spain won't be at their full strength to start the next match. And I wonder what that will look like. Can they step up like they did in extra time, but for a full 90 minutes instead? We'll have to see, man.
And it is crazy. I think the biggest miss is actually Dani Carvajal because he does everything. He's there last-ditch defending, and then he's also up there getting assists, crossing it, and being dangerous for Spain. He's going to be a massive miss. He is a born winner for Real Madrid and for Spain. Now you don't have that for an entire semifinal match. That's going to be a huge miss. And even for Morata too, that's a huge miss. He's basically like prime France Giroud right now with his team, where he's just working with the wingers, always setting them up, has really good hold-up play. Now you have Joselu who's going to be doing that job, and that's a major downgrade.
He just hasn't gotten minutes, man.
Exactly.
He's not as fresh, dude. That's the thing. And then you also have Olmo replacing Pedri. I think you're fine there.
You're fine there.
And then backline, you have Nacho replacing Lenormand, who I think is also good. So you're right. I think Carvajal is the biggest one. Who's his backup?
That's the thing. I don't even know. If they brought a right back, bro.
I'm thinking. I need to look at the line. I actually don't know who's going to step in his place, dude. And that's the thing. Carvajal's a winner. Like, that's the most annoying player to root against when he's going against your team. He is a certified winner. To not have him at the semifinal, I think, is going to be massive. So I agree.
Yeah.
And the thing is, speaking of absences, the biggest storyline here is Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos ends his tenure as not just a German national team player, not just a Real Madrid player, as a footballer. It's done. This is it. Toni Kroos has retired. His last kick of the game was that free kick that he sent in, that set piece that he sent in, the final kick of the game. Toni Kroos goes out with Germany getting kicked out of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, just it's a hell of a way to go out, let's be honest. And I said before the tournament, I love that he decided, all right, I'm retiring after hosting the Euros with my country.
No.
What a way to go out. No matter what ended up happening, not getting to the final, I still think it's a beautiful journey that Kroos has gone on. I mean, he's literally won every single trophy that he's been able to. Toni Kroos, one of the best commanding midfielders of this generation.
I just think, as a football fan, I feel like from the moment he made that announcement, like, he fully showed why he could still easily play another 3-4 years, bro. And so I feel a little cheated selfishly from being able to see Toni Kroos play in big matches for the next couple of years, because he easily can continue playing football at the highest level. Easily, bro. He is not even on the downturn whatsoever. So that's a little frustrating from a football fan perspective, but obviously the fairy tale of it, I think, is beautiful. With him announcing, I'm leaving after this venture I'm going on with Germany, returning to the national team. It ends here. Thank you, Toni Kroos. What a ride it's been, and what a way to go out ultimately to what I would imagine might end up being the Euro champions.
Yeah, we said the winner of this match would go on to win the final. I still believe that, even with the absences in the semifinal. I think Spain have been the best team at this tournament, and they should really back themselves to get to the final and lift the trophy. For Germany, though, man, I mean, this has been a really great tournament for them. You think about the last 12, 18 months for this team, it was abysmal. It was looking really grim for this side, but they turned it around in a matter of months and then ended up having a very good tournament tournament. Losing out to the best team in the quarterfinals, I think, is honestly a success at the end of the day. Yes, I think they could have taken this to penalties. It's a miss in that regard, but overall, this team now can look at each other and just be like, all right, like we can get to a World Cup and we can go on a deep run if we keep this 11, 12, 13 players. Nagelsmann, I think, really showed himself as a good coach. I think they played really good offense. They went toe-to-toe with Spain today, the best team at this tournament. So for me, this is a great showing for Germany.
That's exactly why prior to the tournament, if you had told me that Germany was going to get kicked out in the quarterfinals, I would have thought, it sounds a little bit disappointing on paper. But you have to take context into play. The fact it was Spain today and the way the Spanish team has been playing and that they ultimately took all the way to extra time and we're 2 minutes away from facing them off in penalties says a lot about Germany. They're, I think, now showing that they can be a semifinal team at the World Cup if they play at their best level. Quarterfinals minimum at the next World Cup. Yeah. I think they can definitely reach those heights now, and that's good to know about Germany because we were hesitant about what version we would see once this big tournament arrives. It looks much better now under Nagelsmann and in his hamster-like demeanor.
Yeah, I like that.
Looks like a hamster.
What sucks, though, is this is the first time Germany have hosted a tournament and not gone to a semifinal.
Damn.
Yeah, so low-key, the generation has failed in that regard, which sucks. Yep. But what's also crazy, too, is Spain continues to have Germany's number in a knockout setting. Germany has never knocked out Spain.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So, like, Spain just continually, every time they meet in the knockout stage, Spain has Germany's number no matter what, bro. Doesn't matter if you're in Germany either. Spain don't give a fuck.
No.
It's crazy, man.
They don't.
And it just shows you that grit, that mentality, and the technique of Spanish football. Yeah. It can beat anything.
We'll see, man. We'll see because I think the players they're missing, I think, will make for a really interesting semifinal matchup. That's all.
Absolutely.
That's all.
France just beat Portugal on penalties. Reynoso's gone. He's at a wedding. And it was a 5 perfect penalties from France that got them through this game. No magic from Diogo Costa, and it was a Joao Felix miss that led to Portugal's ultimate demise in this shootout. But, I mean, just to be quite frank, 0-0. This game ended 120 minutes of football action, and neither side could find the back of the net in regulation or in extra time. But are we really surprised, folks? Because we knew what we were getting into going into this match. Portugal have struggled all tournament long. Lack of chemistry, lack of fluidity up front. And France continue this streak where they cannot score a goal in open play. 2 penalties and own goals, all they have to show for, but they have now qualified to the semifinals of Euro 2024. Quite insane, if we're being completely honest. The match itself kind of played out exactly like that too, y'all. I mean, 60 minutes of a chess match is essentially what we got entertained to in this game. A lot of probing, a lot of defensive action. What was really interesting, though, is that I thought there was better individual performances from both offenses here. The first 5 minutes, France were playing the quickest and the fastest football I've seen them play at this tournament. But it only lasted 5 minutes. Portugal then had their spells of possession for 20 minutes. Then France got back into the game for 20 minutes. But in those spells of possession, I mean, we didn't really see teams really open each other up. It really was just back and forth a little bit, a real midfield battle, if you will. Griezmann looked a little bit better. He looked a little sharper on his passes. Mbappe was a little bit more involved, though, still very inefficient, still very inaccurate. And for Portugal, just kind of the same thing. Rafael Leao had, I thought, a really good game, constantly penetrating, but there's just no end product. There's just no final pass. Every shot was getting blocked. Finally, in the 60th minute, Portugal opened up France's defense. There's a Bruno Fernandes chance, and Vitinha especially had a very big chance in front of goal, both of them being stopped by the mighty Maignan. And then on the other end, France also started getting going. There was that Camavinga chance, and then there was that shot from Kolo Muani that was ultimately blocked by Ruben Diaz, and you know what a spectacular block it was. But that's the ultimate takeaway, I think, from this match is the defenses really showed up in this match. It's why both me and Reynoso backed France to somehow figure this out. It wasn't their offense that was going to get them through in this game. It was going to be their defense. William Saliba, again, proving that he is a mountain in human form. Nobody can get past him. But the same thing could be said about Portugal's defense, too. I mean, Pepe, at 41 years of age, giving the exact same performance as William Saliba, who is, 16 years his junior. Absolutely ridiculous performance from Pepe. There was a moment when he got in a foot race with Marcus Thuram, and Pepe stayed with him and also got the block to force a corner kick. And it's just an insane moment from Pepe. I can't believe he still has this in him. I really can't. At this point, I need to see Pepe for the next 2 years so he can play at the World Cup here in the States, because seeing this man operate at 43 years of age would be an incredible thing to see, and he's proven at this Euros that he's still got it. I cannot believe Pepe's performances at this Euro. That truly has shocked my mind. But unfortunately for Pepe and Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal just could not find the back of the net. Game goes to penalties, and hearing the stats was, a little scary, honestly, for France, because they haven't won a penalty shootout since the 90s. They've lost their last 3 penalty shootouts, and Portugal had just come off of one where, obviously, Diogo Costa had a brilliant performance in it. And I was wondering if we were going to get the same type of magic from Costa. We saw it last night with Emi Martinez becoming big for Argentina in that shootout. But France's men stepped up, and they were cold about it. And that's what you have to do in these moments. It doesn't even come down to Costa at the end of the day. France just had better penalty kicks. And France move on. They find themselves into the semifinal. It's a job done for France, and I think that's the better way to put it rather than saying France beat Portugal, because it's 0-0. France still can't score, and there's still some just shoddy performances offensively for France. I mean, there was a moment when N'Golo Kante was taking shot after shot after shot. That's your box-to-box midfielder having to take the offense into his own hands because Mbappe, Dembele, Barcola, Griezmann just can't do it. And that's the story of France this whole tournament. It continues. Their offense is struggling, but their defense is elite. Truly, truly. We cannot deny that. And so now what's set up is a really, really interesting final with Spain looking like the best team in the Euros going up against this very defensive-minded French side. We talked about it at the end of that Spain game. The misses of Dani Carvajal, Alvaro Morata, I think are going to be very, very big for Spain. But they have proven that they are deep. The Spanish side works very well, whether it's a starter or a substitute. So I trust the Spanish side to figure it out ultimately when it comes to their starting 11. And we saw Dani Olmo come on early today and give a stellar performance. So having Olmo at the start is not going to hurt Spain whatsoever. They're going to have to go against this very defensive-minded French side. Ultimately, I just hope Spain wins for the good of football, because I can't believe France have gotten this far. But at the same time, I can, because at the end of the day, France still have at their base level some of the best footballers in the world. And it has literally proven to be semifinal worthy. So if you're Spain, you can't get too cocky. Approach it the way you approach this Germany side. You know you're the superior team. Play your Spanish football. And I think at the end of the day, Spain should be able to beat this French side. I do think it's going to be tight, though. Let's be honest. France have made every single game very, very tight, and they've played against good offenses. Austria, Netherlands, and now this team against Portugal. So for France, this will be no different. I expect them to keep it very tight. It's going to be very defensive for them, but they have the guys to pull it off. Koundé, Saliba, and even Upamecano have been so good. And you have Mike Maignan between the sticks for that added protection. So I do think this game is going to be tight, though I still have Spain beating France, getting to the final, and winning this whole thing.